AEW Collision Review video on September 21st, 2024. But as I was saying on the backstage interview segment with that featured Jeff Jarrett and his wife Karen, with him giving a demonstration on whipping the belt, not the belt, the strap right on the wall. Like you see what he's going to be doing to Hangman this Wednesday. And this is where then he's like the out, like, and this is where then he said, like, in the like the final outlaw is gonna be kicking your freaking ass. And this is where he walked out of the interview. This is where then he walked, and this is where then we got what's her name? Karen Jarrett didn't shrug her arms, like shrug emoji. This is where we got Queen Aminata that came out because it was her match against Serena Deeb, and yeah, like. Just like how Timeless Tony Storm, CEO Mercedes Moné, and the Glamour Mariah May has done in AEW Women's Division lately, is make it the most prestigious division in all of professional wrestling. And then it continues to grow, even with this feud with Queen Aminata taking on Serena Deeb. They definitely made the building explode with their I'll say their their battle with one another, like with them trying to get, I'll say, not just privileges but get to the very top of the mountain of AEWs, like in the division, I guess you could say, with or without the champion, I guess you could say, and even. I'll say this match would have been much better, like if it did have a championship on the line. But they showed that they don't even need it in order to be the most popular individuals in all of professional wrestling. But this is where then we got started with Queen Aminata just went right up onto the professor. This is where she just brought her right down, just where she tried to throw fists. But this is where what's her name tried to hang on to her so she won't start throwing fists right into her face. What's her name? Serena Deeb. This is where they went right to the left side. Referee was like, okay, like y'all on the ropes, like that's against the rules. Like if you hang on and still fighting each other, this is where it's like if y'all want any more fight. If you want to continue y'all's do y'all's battle, like y'all need to do it inside the ring rather than outside or in the side or whatnot. Is where they listen. It was like, okay, anything to get in each other's throats. Like this is where they but this is where we got what's her name? Serena Deeb go for a headlock. But this is where Aminata tried to counter, try to go for a waist lock. But this is where then we got, what's her name, hit a hammer lock. Serena, this is where she goes for a double cranking headlock until she tripped right over. But this is where his head scissors right onto the ground by the queen. And that's where then Aminata did his arm drag slam until the professor then go for like a head scissor kind of maneuver until Aminata got back up. And she was like, you think that's going to easily and permanently put me on the ground? This is where then what's her name? Serena Deeb was like, I was hoping it was, but I'm guessing that it obviously did not help at all. And it's where then they continued by going for a hand grabbing war. But this is where it looks like that Serena Deeb won that mini war by grabbing onto Aminata's left arm. This is where she tried to go for her arm stomp right onto the queen, but this is where did she move out? This is where she got her arm got hit right onto the right left side. This is where we got what's her name? Serena Deeb and went for her headlock. This is where then we got. That's where we got Queen Aminata, then Irish whip Serena Deeb right to the left side. This is where they get thrown right to the right side. This is where then we got Serena Deeb go for a shoulder tackle, but Queen Aminata was like no way, Serena. And then this is where she was like, if you're gonna bring me down, like give me your best shot, not just your appetizer that you're offering to me. This is where then she went right to the top course. Okay, I'll give you the full course meal of a beat down right here. This is where Queen Aminata was like, not if I do it to you first. Is where then she try to go for a hip toss, but this is where we got Serena Deeb was like psych, like they don't call me the professor for nothing because like I always head onto my opponents. Is where she wrapped Aminata's legs right onto her waist. I go to back side of her waist, and then this is where then she then went and attached her legs right onto what's her name, Queen Aminata's arm. She started grabbing onto her head, started going for this little what's that like a little what's that arm stretch maneuver, like by having her face first onto the ground, is where then she sent her right to the upper right corner side. She clotheslines her. This is where then Serena Deeb then Irish whip her into the bottom right corner side. This is where then she tried to go for a spear right onto her midsection, but Amanada smartly leaped right over her, went right to the top upper corner side. This is where she trips right over Serena Deeb. This is where then she went right to the bottom corner ropes, hit a missile drop kick, middle right into the face. This is where then the queen then go for a pin, but the professor, Serena, then kicks out at 2.1, I believe. She then went tried to take a breather right to the bottom right corner side onto the barricade until Amanada tried to go for a running attack move. She did not know what to hit in particular. Which it was a big mistake, but at the same time, even if she didn't know exactly what she was about to hit, I believe that Serena D would have countered it anyways. Which she showed that she would hit the swift kick right to the face of Amanada when she rolled her leg. Once Queen Amanada grabbed onto her leg when she was about to kick her right in the face, is where then she. That's where we saw Serena Deeb to drape her right onto the middle ropes, or onto the outer part, right onto the apron. Hit a sit-out neck breaker right onto her with her what's that, hanging right onto the ropes and hitting the hardest part of the ring. This is where the Serena Deeb was like, okay, this is a good sign. Like, I'm back in the offense side. And then, but this is where once she got Amanada right back in her feet, like with her trying to go for this little, what's this web shooting submission lock that's like the Black Widow that AJ Lee used to do in her time in wrestling. This is where then we got Queen Amanada somehow with all her strength by slamming her back first right onto with this crucifix slam. This is where both women were down. Referee was like, y'all still can compete. This was like, yes, like even though like we're in so much pain right now after taking that bump. And this is where then Amanada tried to go for a pin, but this is where Serena Deeb immediately kicks out at 2.7. And then the queen was like, okay, like that did not work, like, but I'm not gonna I'm not gonna waste no time. I'm just gonna continue to get more offense in, and she started going for a chop right into the chest onto Serena, but Serena fought right back, started playing a game of wrestling slap tennis, I guess you could say. But they made made Queen Amanada look absolutely extremely good into this match. Like even though like it was the complete opposite that was going to happen to her, which we're going to be getting to later on. Like, they still made her look like a megastar. Like, if she's fighting for a women's championship, which I sure hope that does happens again, like they did with Mariah May a couple weeks ago. But anyway, I just don't see her being any kind of champion until the next couple of years, unfortunately, which I'm going to get into just a moment. But this is where we got Amanada go for a shin kick right into the face onto Serena Deeb. This is where then we saw her picking up the professor. And then this is where then still like she's about to hit a finisher. But this is where the Serena Deeb then intercepted the pass from the queen by trying to go for inside cradle, I believe. But this is where she only got a 2 even count with Amanada immediately kicking out at 2. This is where the Serena Deeb looked like about to go for what's that called? Try to go for like some kind of a backsliding maneuver, but this is where she turned into a hammerlock, which was a lariat. This is where she goes for the cover. This is where she nearly got the 3, but Queen Amanada kicked out at the last second when the referee was had his hand right onto the mat, but only got a 2.999999999 double triple 9 without the 3, and then this is where we got Serena Deeb picks up her. This is where then she was about to hit her with her pile driver thingamajiggy maneuver. But this is where Queen Amanada picks her up and try to hit her with a body drop. But this is where the Serena Deeb I go for sit out pin. But this is where Queen Amanada flipped right back up with her arms wrapped around Serena's legs by going for what's that, a pin, like a like what's that, like a reversal kind of pin, like with them doing the roll-ups back and forth. Kind of reminded me on that time in TNA like 15 years ago when these wrestlers did that maneuver. I totally forgot who did that in particular because it's been years ago. But that's what they were kind of doing right here. But then we're like 1, 2, 1, 2, going back and forth, like with pins after pin on one another until Queen Amanada then hits a double slap right into both shoulders right onto Serena. This is where it goes to the left side, but this is where Serena Deeb hits a leg chopping chop block right onto the right knee of not right knee, the left knee of Queen Amina. This is where she used that for her advantage to secure the win, but this where but first this is where we got Serena Deeb to try to finish off the job, but it didn't work the first attempt. She ended up getting hit with a pop-up headbutt, well not pop-up, but just a headbutt out of nowhere that made her went right into the left side. This is where then Queen Aminata collected the professor. This is where fans start chanting, "This is awesome!" Like they were doing with the Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes versus the Undisputed Kingdom match, which that's the reason why I'm giving it the bronze trophy, because this match was really that good. And for those that did not watch, I would suggest you to watch it for yourself. 1, 2, 3, winner of this match, Serena Deeb, and I'm the biggest, one of the biggest congratulations, Professor, by putting on a great performance along with the Queen, and yeah, like, and they definitely burned the roof in the house. And I'm not just saying that, just throwing out there it's a random term to use, but rather than that's exactly what they did. Some might disagree and say this was the golden match of the night, like with the golden, but that's for like only for guys, like probably the guys and gals that are into just instant classics, like in one-on-one matches. They'll probably think this would be the match, which I wouldn't argue with them much. Like the only reason I'm giving the third place spot though is because we got 3 more matches like that were really good. Like which we got the opener, which deserves second place spot, which was that street fight tag team tornado tag match with Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes, like I said. And also we had this 10-man tag match, which definitely was the entertaining match of the night. But yeah, like this match was totally good as well. And I hope both of these women do get their respective opportunities. And after this big win, hopefully Serena Deeb does collect some kind of a women's champion of some sort. If not the women's world championship, perhaps the TBS championship. I don't know. Like maybe it could be either Mariah or Mercedes. I don't know who could give her that opportunity for the professor of the women's division. But let me know in the comments below what championship that she deserves the most. Like the could potentially win that women's championship, which I'm probably going to get into for a different video for a different day. But yeah, and this is where Serena Deeb like then celebrated, start bragging right in front of Queen Aminata, like saying like she's the better woman of the night and maybe in the division as well. But that's not the only time we're going to be seeing the professor like in AEW television live, like because later on she's going to be making a special announcement, which I'm going to tell you exactly what that announcement may be. But we're just going to move on to the next slide. That's where then we got Saraya was in a backstage interview with Renee Paquette next, like, and this is where then she was continuing her complaints with Jamie Hayter. And I was like, yeah, like this is the point that I'm making of the women's division is improving, and that's a good sign. Let's hope that they won't be doing a little bit of lacking of it, like at least doing segments of with the women that they do have, like what's the story they're telling, like with the fights, like what like when their next fight may be, and then also like for the champions, like you gotta pick out like who's the next challenger maybe, which they're doing with Mariah May with Yuka Sakazaki, which I thought they did a very excellent job, like finding an immediate challenger, even though it was like they did a bit too soon. But the way I see it, I don't think it's a bit too soon. Like they found like a perfect opponent for Mariah May for her next title match, but we're gonna continue to talk about that probably like in the upcoming review video, perhaps on Dynamite. But but continuing on to the next storyline with in the women's division, we got Soraya like in this interview saying like for. Is where then Soraya then explain what exactly the Soraya rules match means with Renee Paquette asking this question, which Soraya was like, sure, my friend Renee, like I could gladly explain the rules. Like it's clearly like the it's clearly been a match for many years, like from like in my family for plenty of generations. And everybody across and even everybody across England knows this match, including like this bald idiot that's called Simon, which is my boy the other my fellow YouTuber that's the bald master of the ups and downs, I guess you could say. Hope I didn't insult him by calling him bald, but I mean that in a compliment kind of way. But anyways, is where we. But yeah, Soraya then was making his point, like saying like everybody knows this in England, but this is where then Renee Paquette's like, well, like if that's the case, then like, can you care to share like the rules, like do you have it written down at least? And this where then what's her name? Soraya's like, sure. As a matter of fact, like I have it written down that Harley's holding on right now, just where she commanded Harley Cameron to read the rules right on this interview by saying like, yep, it's right here in this bag. She was like, okay, like rule number 1, like there are no rules obviously except for the following, of course, but rule 2, you cannot use weapons unless you're Soraya. And this is where then she started going down the list of you cannot do certain things unless you're Soraya. And I was like, how fair is this match is going to be? Like how is this going to be fair with her opponent, Jamie Hayter? Like, how's she going to have a chance of winning if the rules are going to only occur to be legal for Soraya? But anyways, this is where like she getting the details. She said like you must obey the 10 count, like unless you're Soraya, of course. Like in rule 4, no biting or chopping, hair pulling or groin kicking, or unless you're Soraya. Like in rule number 5, like what was number 5 was like, which it was something that Soraya did not like. What was it? It was what was that? Never have blocks. That's what she said. And she was like, yeah, I don't like that rule. So move on to, and this is what she was like in rule number 6, like no outside interference unless you're a friend of Soraya, which is me, myself, Harley Cameron. I was like, yeah, yeah, she's totally doing this on purpose to get over as a heel. But anyway, this is where then she state rule number 7, which is no road break unless you're Soraya. Like and just like rule number 8, like the match must only begin with offense from Soraya. And I was like, what? But I was thinking to myself, like, what if Jamie Hayter gets the offense first? Like, that means that she gets disqualified, which that doesn't even make any sense. Like 2 plus 2 goes potatoes even. But the reason why I'm not giving it the nonsensical award is because that. That it was very entertaining and very funny to watch this again. And she's just doing this like because she's trying to get the win over in kayfabe, she's just trying to do anything she can like to get the advantage over Jamie Hayter. But she just doing but in the reality side of things, she's just trying to get over as the most top heel in the AEW women's division, which I think she's like 3rd place in that category because the other 2 like that are currently holding champions are in the top 2 list. But anyways, let's move on. And then this where then she said like in the final rule like that Harley Cameron didn't state saying like defeating her is gonna be a slug, and then she was that was number 9. But number 10, the winner receives like an autographed copy of Soretta's autobiography, of course, like which is available on pre-order. And then this is where then Soretta's like, and that's right, like, and she was like, and thank you so much, Harley, and thank you so much for this interview again, Renee. Like yeah, that's pretty straightforward over Jamie. I can. Speaking of her name, like Betty Gale, like just give you a warning here, like so. Yeah, so make sure to follow those rules carefully, and maybe I'll spare you, okay?" And she was like thanking her. I believe she was doing it in a sarcastic manner, which I don't understand like what exactly like in kayfabe. Like I was thinking in kayfabe, I was like like. But what's the point of having her in this match if if she's not gonna be getting if she don't have the fair opportunities to fight right back if she's not be able to get a chance to get the offense first, which this is why Soraya is never dull, and like if you give her some creative some creative to do, like she won't be disappointing. Like I gotta hand this to the former anti diva, I guess you could call her, but it's where then she. But it's where then she's like, and this where then she told Harvey Cameron to do her the honors, like, and this where she then start eating this note of the rules, which that didn't make any sense. Like, but still, it was very hilarious. Didn't get that though. Like, even though I kind of get what Soraya's doing in reality, but in kayfabe I don't, which that don't even make any sense either. But if you understand the wrestling business, you probably would understand exactly where I'm coming from. But the assassinators probably do, because that's the reason why they're watching this video, because it's about their favorite wrestling show. But anyways, we're gonna move on to the next slide. One of their favorite wrestling shows. Let me rephrase that before I move on. But I'm gonna do that right now with me talking about this backstage interview with Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara in the other booth, which featured Lexi Nair doing the honors with Sammy Guevara, like in his interviews, and like what's next for them. This is what Sammy Guevara's I cannot not hide the obvious no more, because I'm gonna stop hiding the obvious, because I see my tag partner is Dustin Two Belts, and he's a legend as well, like, and he deserves to be respected as such. Like, but I also want to be a two belt as well, like Two Belt Sammy or Sammy Two Belts, like coming up with their first name and having the two belt nickname, like if they're a certain Irish woman that claims to be the man. But anyways, this is where like he set out the challenge, and it was none other than the guy that I kayfabingly hate in wrestling right now, is none other than the man that thinks he can control the weather, the bitch man even, Kazuchika Okada, for his AEW Continental Championship. And I was like, Udalaliak, I hope he does win that eliminator match this Wednesday to earn himself a shot, and I hope he be the one to dethrone the bitch man that claims that he can control the weather. The one thing that he needs to do me a favor, not to bring up about how he wants to do the R word to a certain someone, like he said back 8 years ago. But anyways, let's move on to the next slide. But yeah. But I hope he does win, like this, at least get an opportunity for this shot. But let me know down in the comment section right down below what exactly what's exactly going to happen, and do you think that Sammy Guevara is going to earn himself a shot at the Continental Championship, perhaps at Wrestle Dreams, or maybe at AEW 5, Dynamite 5, or whatever they call it? Like, did they put the 5 first or the Dynamite first? Well, it don't matter. I'm just going to say it, like the 5-year anniversary of AEW Dynamite. That's what I'm going to say right here. But let me know, like, who is going to win. Like, do you think Guevara's going to win, or do you think that Okada is going to protect the privileges? But anyway, this is where we got the Outrunners. Like, this is where then the FTR and Hook then came out. It's like a 5-way team. Well, at first it was Hook, then it was the Outrunners that came out right afterwards. Then it was FTR, like with them waiting for the likes of Rouge, the Grizzled Young Veterans, and Roderick Strong and Beast Mortos coming out to do this match, which was totally awesome. But the one thing that I did not expect, like who's going to be the winner, well, it did win the match. But we're going to get into that right now, which we got, what's his name, Kyle O'Reilly starting off with James Drake, and it's starting to give me like kind of some NXT vibes again, because I used to watch them all the time, and I've been big fans of these guys. But this is where Kyle O'Reilly then Irish whips, what's his name, James Drake right into the left side to the right side. Is where we got. That's where we got Kyle O'Reilly gets shoulder tackled by O'Reilly. No, it wasn't O'Reilly. It was Uncle Cash the Flash. Well, even though he's not really my uncle, but that's what everybody likes calling him in the wrestling business, whether they're from AEW or not. But anyways, it's where we got Cash the Flash, then dips him right to the right side, hits some arm drags right onto James Drake, and did it twice, second consecutive time. Then start going for this arm dragging lock, but this is where then we got James Drake got out of it, like because he's very strong. Don't let the size of his height or his weight fool you. But anyway, this is where he gets tagged in by not James Drake. He is James Drake. His tag partner, Zach Gibson. This is where they try to go for a double team, but Uncle Cash the Flash came in and got flip right out of their double team. This is where his tag team brother, Dax the Axe, then came in. And then they start going back and forth. Like if they're a tag team, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, when they used to do to each other, when they used to be bitter rivals, like back in almost a decade ago. But this is where then we got that's where they got the Outrunners and Hook, and they came out to go right after Roderick Strong, Roosh, and Beast Mortos, and send them right packing on the outside. Except for Roderick Strong, of course. This is where it was. Roderick Strong was the last guy that was still in the ring, that was in the team heel side. And this where, guess what the baby faces do? They took turns giving them shots of hitting them with their best right hand strike to see who's going to win the prize. Like whoever gets the big strike will buy them dinner tonight. Well, I'm not sure if that actually happened. I'm just coming up with an idea of whoever wins, do some kind of a punch. Who hit their opponent harder challenge, I guess you could say, kind of scenario, just for the fun side of talking about this review video. First to start off with Hook, then it was second was Truth Magnum, then it was Turbo Floyd, then it was Uncle Cash the Flash, and then it was Uncle Dax the Axe, then with right hand. But then going back and forth until Beast Mortos was like, okay, I got enough. I don't want you I've seen enough. I don't want you to torture my best friend anymore. This is where then the babyface was like, oh come on, we were just getting started, and then this is where they're like, okay, I guess we all won. So one of us is going to have to do another challenge on who's going to take who out for dinner tonight. And that's where they start doing their flexible muscles. But I got to admit that the Outrunners look very ripped, with their guns that they have around their arms. But yeah, back to the matches where we got Dax the Axe that was tagged in by his tag team brother, got in the match and started fighting, I believe was James Drake. Zach Gibson. Until he gets overpowered by the Grizzled Young Veteran. This is where he tags in Bruce. He overpowers the Axe. This is where he sends him right to the bottom left side. This is where he goes to the upper right side diagonal from him and hit tried to go for a middle drop kick, but he stopped right and a step away from him, hit a boot, that slide kicked him right in the face. This is where the Bruce was like, what? I'm trying to make it easy for him. This is where then he flips roll over, go to the upper right side, does this side pose, you must have learned from Andrade, which it's very rare to see the master of El Idolo used to do. But this is where they start pointing each and every one of this for each and every one of you. This is where that's always okay, it could be for your fans, but not mine. And this is where he started hitting some knife edge chops. Like I said earlier, he won in the number one spot as Gunther's the guy that he envied the most, and that is the Axeman himself. That mostly 9 times out of 10 always gets the number one spot of the envy list, unless if it's somebody in the main event unless somebody that's special and big, in the main event scene, that's familiar with the chops and always likes doing it. If it's a John Moxley or Bryan Danielson, I should say. Other than that, Dax Hart always wins, whether if he's in the opener or in the main event. But it's where then we got Roosh then hit a big thunderous forearm strike right into the jaw of Dax. This is where he tags in, I believe, was Zach Gibson back in the ring. This is where he started stomping right into the midsection. And then until he got him right back in the middle, try to go for a suplex, but Uncle Dax the Axe then wrist lock out of it, go for a knife edge chop. This is where then he picks him right up, go for a wrist lock. This is where then he turned into a suplex right into his corner. He hits a running leg drop right on him. We're trying to go for a pin. But this is where we got what's his name? Zach Gibson got kicked out of it. They were both kneeling face to face to each other. This is where he tags in the cold-hearted, handsome Tasmanian Devil. But which is Hook, of course, is where he kicks him right in the midsection. This is where it's a chop, which he gets the third place spot. Start kneeing him right to the midsection. This is where then he grabs the grizzled young vet and started kneeing him in the midsection repeatedly, trying to go for a suplex. That's where we got Zach Gibson go for a wrist lock, but this is where he gets headlocked by Hook. This is where he dips him right to the right side. He gets tagged in by James Drake. This is where he goes for a slide duck. James Drake leapfrogs, goes to the right corner side, and pushes him right to the left corner side rope and hit a double clothesline that took him down right in the middle of the ring. This is where we got. And we got James Drake going for the cover, but it was too easy to go for the pin at this time because he immediately kicked out at 2 even. And this is where they tagged in the guy that he's been in a beefy rivalry with, and that was Roderick Strong, the same guy that loves shouting people's first name for whatever reasons. And I hope he does not think my real first name is Super or whatever. But it'll be fair enough that he thinks that the third name of my name is my first name, but Night of the Night, Dax Harwood's up at number 1. And that's where they start going to battle of the second place Valor Gunther's Envy list with Roderick Strong. Some so-called redemption from the name General for him humiliating him when he changed his name from Volta to Gunther. This is where we got Roderick Strong might go for a suplex or even maybe the end of Heartache, but this is where he ends up getting a hip suplex by Hook right over to the upper right side. This is where he hits a devastating lariat right onto him. This is where we got the Grizzly Young veterans trying to help out Strong, but James then gets a clothesline. Zach trying to go run in charge, but he gets kneed right into the midsection. He then hits him with this, headlock slam, send him right to the top corner side. Hits a big right hand right onto the face of Roosh when he tried to hit a right hand of his own, but he get blocked by Dakota Hardy, Handsome Devil. This is where he goes to the four-armed Roderick Strong's new best friend, Beast Mortos. This is where once he turns around, he tried to go for a knee strike, but he felt him like a mile away from him, like if he was a Super Saiyan going Goku on him. That's where he then move out of the way before he can get a chance to knee strike him. This is where he go for a German suplex. This is where it was like a sideways exploder suplex. I'm afraid that Hook was like was that a preview or what? Like with the fans, like with him looking like with a serious voice, but he was very happy what he just did to the former AEW International Champion. And he started hitting some right hands right to the midsection repeatedly, going to the right and then left and then left and right. And then that's where the Hook then hit a ginormous headbutt as well after doing that. But this is where after all that happened, this is where he then tried to bring him right in the middle of the ring, try to hit him with another exploder suplex. Rob Strong's like, nope, lightning does not strike twice. And a little reminder, hit a backbreaker right onto Hook. This is where it starts stomping him right to the head. This is where we got James Drake started doing that. This is where the most powerful force in all of pro wrestling then came on, and it was the commercial break. And I believe they must have cursed the grizzled young veterans. And I was thinking to myself, like, perhaps Simon was right about these commercial breaks. Like, it's just that it's so cursed for guys that are offense to a certain match, especially on the main event. Like they get always he's turned right around. Like when one team has the offense, but this is where. Well, that's what happened right here, like with what's his name, Hook. Hook finally tags in one of the outrunners, which I believe was Truth Magnum, which he was making a comeback, run onto Zach Gibson, and this is where then he tags in his tag partner, Truth Magnum. No, Turbo Floyd, Truth Magnum. I already said what I'm talking about. It was Turbo Floyd that he tagged in. This is where they double hit toss the Grizzly Young vet. This is where then. It's where then they're like, okay, like now it's time to show what we got, what we got inside of us. This is where then we got what's his name, Turbo Floyd shout out like loud and clear, saying like now let us show them you SOB or something like that by shouting it right into by showing them guns. That's where then you go for an elbow drop right into the midsection, sending them right to the the bottom of the ringside area. This is where they start flexing their muscles. Yeah, like I said, it was pretty impressive. This is where they hit their version of the Shatter Machine. I was like, yeah, like these guys are the best, and they're totally underrated right now. Like, and they really really need to get the spotlight much sooner rather than later. Maybe not. Maybe they're not going to get it sooner though, but it will be soon. However, but yeah, they probably would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for the meddling kids, like, or maybe it was a meddling albino bull, and then a lucha bull, and then a ram. I think it was a lucha beast like ram, and then the other one was a meddling wild man with crazy hair. That's a grizzled veteran, I guess you could call him. I don't know, or call him. I don't know what the refer, but this one we got Turbo, not Turbo. It was Tooth Magnum sitting right on the outside. That's where he tried to go for a rolling, like what's a wheelbarrow roll-up, but this is where what he did not know, that the tag was made. And it was Zach Gibson that tagged his grizzled young teammate of James Drake, and this is where then he booted him right into the face. This is where then we saw him fall right onto the left side. This is where then we got Roderick Strong trying to run back in the ring, but he's like, I have a better idea. Like, I got somebody that I need to take care of first. And then, and while I thought that Kyle O'Reilly was in this match, like he already wrestled, he was against the Premier Athletes, like teaming with his collaboration teammate, Mark Briscoe, and their honorary mate, what's his name, Hologram, of course. But yeah, this is where then we got, Zach Gibson then hit the elbow strike, and this is where it's like you think y'all some jocks? Like the only J word that I can think of right now that represents you and your brother, what's his name, Turbo, is y'all a couple of big jokes or something like that. That's what he said right on TV. And this way he's like,